Today I'll explain how to write a graph description. First, we need to know there's three types of a graph: pie chart, line chart, bar graph. There's no difference to say chart or graph. When you are describing a graph, you have to look for three things: title, key, labels. Sometimes there is no title, there is no key, but labels always there. You have to say in your introduction what labels represents. Y-axis label in this example represents the amount in million. X-axis label represents type of imports. The body bar graph, you have to write about general look in the graph. If it is upward trend or downward or fluctuated, you have to say in the first sentence of your body bar graph a general look. You can say it is upward trend. This graph is upward trend, or it is downward or fluctuated. After the general look, you have to do compare and contrast. Use words shall compare and contrast. For example, when you compare between two things and you want to show similarities, you can say similar to, the same as. For contrast, you can say unlike, on the other hand. To do compare and contrast, we have to look at the highest point in this graph and the lowest point in the graph. We can say the peak was in 2020 and the amount of money was 100, and the lowest point was in 2010 and the amount of money was 20. Give details, you have to mention numbers. In this example, there is a number for the amount of money and number for years. When you write, you have to talk about these numbers. Conclusion, summarize. You can say again if it is upward trend, if it is downward, and say if it is upward, you have to say maybe it's increasing. If it is downward trend, you can say it decreasing, or it is fluctuated, you can say it fluctuated by the years. Here's some words you need to know some of them when you are writing graph description step. Now let's read this example. This paragraph illustrates sales of laptops. This is the title of this graph. Between the years 22 to 29. Now let's talk about the labels. Y labels, X labels. The Y labels represents the number of sales, while the X axis represents the number of years. We can observe the following trends and patterns by studying this graph. This graph shows upward trend. It goes up. The peak was in the year 29 and the number of sales was 125. Conversely, the lowest point was in 22 and it was 25. Between the years 24 to 26, the bar rose sharply from 15 to 75. In the same manner, it continued increasing between the years 26 and the number of sales was 57 to 28 and the sales was 100. In 29, the number of sales was 125 and it reached a peak. Overall, the number of sales increased over the years. In summary, this graph represents upward trend. Sales of laptops increased from the year 22 to 29.